Welcome back, viewers. Once again, I'm Oscar Shigemura.
We met again, guys. This is Reese Gustotara speaking, and whoa!
We are now on our last vlog in our series.
That's right. And unlike from our previous vlogs, we will explain first what exactly is the video game series Portal, its history, what makes it an action adventure and a serious educational game, and what we could do if we were to conceptualize a similar game with a more educational and serious genre implementation.
You might be wondering why we're in a futuristic tube and why we're robots. Well, it's because we will be talking about the Portal series, 1 and 2.
That's right. And unlike from our previous vlogs, we will explain first what exactly is the video game series Portal, its history, what makes it an action adventure and a serious educational game, and what we could do if we were to conceptualize a similar game with a more educational and serious genre implementation.
Starting off, we chose to make our vlogs mainly about these games as we think that it perfectly describes what an action adventure game and a serious educational game would be like.
Portal is a 2007 first person puzzle adventure game developed and published by Valve. It was released in a bundle: the Orange Box for Windows, Xbox 360, and PlayStation 3, and has since been ported to other systems, including Mac OS X, Linux, and Android. Portal consists primarily of a series of puzzles that must be solved using a portal gun with the promise of receiving cake when all the puzzles are completed. The game's unique physics allows kinetic energy to be retained through portals, requiring creative use of portals to maneuver through the test chambers. This gameplay element is based on a similar concept from the game Narbacular Drop. Many of the team members from the DigiPen Institute of Technology who work on Herbacular Drop were hired by Valve for the creation of Portal, making it a spiritual successor to the game.
As for Portal's gameplay, the player controls the protagonist Shell from a first-person perspective as she is challenged to navigate through a series of test chambers using the Aperture Science Handheld Portal device, or Portal Gun, under the watchful supervision of the artificial intelligence GLaDOS. The Portal Gun can create two distinct portal ends, orange and blue. The portals create a visual and physical connection between two different locations in three-dimensional space. Neither end is specifically an entrance or exit. All objects that travel through one portal will exit through the other. An important aspect of the game's physics is momentum redirection and conservation. As moving objects pass through portals, they come through the exit portal in the same direction that the exit portal is facing, and with the same speed with which they pass through the entrance portal. Chell and all other objects in the game that can fit into the portal ends will pass through the portal. However, a portal shot cannot pass through an open portal. It will simply deactivate or create a new portal in an offset position. Creating a portal end instantly deactivates an existing portal end of the same color. Moving objects, glass, special wall surfaces, liquids, or area that are too small will not be able to anchor portals. Chell is sometimes provided with cubes that she can pick up and use to climb on, or hold down large buttons that opens doors or activate mechanisms. Particle fields known as emancipation grills, occasionally called fizzlers in the developer commentary, exist at the end of all and within some test chambers. When passed through, they will deactivate any portals and disintegrate any objects carried through. These fields also block attempts to fire portals through them.
Although Shell is equipped and mechanized heal springs to prevent damage from falling, she can be killed by various other hazards in the test chambers such as turret guns, bouncing balls of energy, and toxic liquid. She can also be killed by objects hitting her at high speeds and by a series of crushers that appear in certain levels. Unlike most action games at the time, there is no health indicator. Shell dies if she is dealt at a certain amount of damage in a short period, but returns to full health fairly quickly. Some obstacles, such as the energy balls and crushing pistons, deal fatal damage with a single blow. Gameplay noted in its initial review of Portal that many solutions exist for completing each puzzles and that the gameplay gets even crazier, and the diagram shown in the trailer showed some incredibly crazy things that you can attempt. Two additional modes are unlocked upon the completion of the game that challenge the player to work out alternative methods of solving each test chamber. Challenge maps are unlocked near the halfway point, and advanced chambers are unlocked when the game is completed. In challenge mode, levels are revisited with the added goal of completing the test chamber either with as little time, with the fewest portals, or with the fewest footsteps possible. In advanced mode, certain levels are made more complex with the addition of more obstacles and hazards.
Portal was acclaimed as one of the most original games of 2007. Despite criticisms of its short duration and limited story, the game received praise for its originality, unique gameplay, and dark story with a humorous series of dialogue. GLaDOS, voiced by Ellen McLain in the English language version, received acclaim for her unique characterization, and the end credits song, Still Alive, written by Jonathan Coulton for the game, was praised for its original composition and humorous twist. Portal is often cited as one of the greatest video games ever made. Excluding Steam download sales, over 4 million copies of the game have been sold since its release, spawning official merchandise from Valve including plush companion cubes, as well as fan recreations of the cake and Portal Gun. A standalone version, titled Portal Still Alive, was published by Microsoft Game Studios and released on the Xbox Live Arcade service in October 2008 as an exclusive title for Xbox 360, which added 14 puzzles to the gameplay.
Following the success of Portal 2007, a sequel, Portal 2, released in 2011, expanded on the storyline, adding several new gameplay mechanics and a cooperative multiplayer mode. It is a puzzle platform video game developed by Valve for Windows, Mac OS X, Linux, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360. The digital PC version is distributed online by Valve's Steam service, while all retail editions were distributed by Electronic Arts. Like the original Portal 2007, players solve puzzles by placing portals and teleporting between them. Portal 2 adds features including tractor beams, lasers, light bridges, and paint-like gels that alter player movement or allow portals to be placed on any surface. In the single-player campaign, players control Shell, who navigates the dilapidated Aperture Science Enrichment Center during its reconstruction by the supercomputer GLaDOS. New characters include Robot Wheatley, Stephen Merchant, and Aperture founder Cave Johnson, Jake Simmons. In the new cooperative mode, players solve puzzles together as robots Atlas and Peabody, who are both voiced by D. Bradley Baker, Jonathan Coulton, and the National produced songs for the game. Valve announced Portal 2 in March 2010 and promoted it with alternate reality games including the Potato Sack, a collaboration with several independent game developers. After release, Valve released downloadable content and a simplified map editor to allow players to create and share levels. Portal 2 received critical acclaim for its gameplay, balanced learning curve, pacing, dark humor, writing, and acting. Like its predecessor, it has been described as one of the greatest video games ever made by numerous publications and critics.
Now that we've discussed what exactly is the video game series, Portal, along with its history and its gameplay, we will now answer the question as what makes the Portal series a combined action-adventure and a serious educational game.
First off, the Portal series is considered an action-adventure game as it involves environmental problem-solving and a complex plot. The story is heavily reliant upon the player's movement, which triggers story events and thus affects the flow of the game. There's a popular aphorism in gaming circles: a good game has a good tutorial, but a great game is the tutorial. Portal is one of those. Instead of telling you how to play the game, it allows you to start and slowly introduces new mechanics with very specific and planned sequences. In the context of a physics lesson, the player has to experiment to figure out the correct solution to each puzzle to advance in the game.
As to how the game is considered a serious educational game, it teaches players mainly three concepts: language, physics, and logic. The game enhances language to its players by encouraging communication and coordination in order to get through conceptual challenges in the multiplayer option of Portal 2. The game also introduces players to physics through direct applications and demonstration like friction, terminal velocity, projectile velocity, oscillation, and refraction.
Oh wow, really? I want to get a copy of it, especially now that it's on sale.
Yep, And not only does the game teach both language and physics to its players, but also improves their logic by demonstrating programming principles and logic methods through puzzles.
Now that we are near the end of our last vlog and are on our path to becoming game developers and artists, it's also necessary to talk about our intentions for creating a game comparable to Portal but with a more instructive and a serious genre implementation.
Portal eventually releases you in an uncontrolled environment and asks you to use the skills you've learned in new situations to complete the game. We want to recreate a similar feeling to players that would give them a controlled environment to freely experiment and hone their skills, then asking them to apply those new skills in an unfamiliar setting. We feel that constructivist learning has been demonstrated to be the most successful method of teaching concepts to players. Our game will give them a fun illustration of how this type of education works in practice with a relatively low time commitment by allowing them to develop their own representations and incorporate new materials into their pre-existing knowledge.
Exactly. Especially in a fast paced industry where innovators rely on technological advancements, it's critical to include admirable ideals in games for players to be impacted by them. Our game would be similar to the Portal series in that it would assist players in honing their academic abilities and critical thinking skills, but with a more serious premise that would employ unique methods to help educate the next generation. With the use of interactive tools and a rich, complicated narrative, we should be able to attract players to practice their reasoning and problem solving abilities without coercion, because the game's flow will be determined by their inventiveness and resourcefulness.
And that is it for our final vlog. We thank you viewers for staying with us throughout the vlog series, and we hope you've learned a thing or two of all the topics we've discussed.
Our vlog series serves not only to fulfill our Funcom 1 but also to share all of our personal knowledge and study into the genres and games we've featured.
For the last time, this is Oscar, your graphics and video editor.
And this is Reese, your scriptwriter, wrapping up our final vlog.
Bye!